Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Thriving Idealist podcast. I'm Yvonne Ator. I'm so grateful to be connecting with you today. Today I've really been thinking about this topic, the idea of the Stockholm Syndrome. Um, Stockholm Syndrome is what happens when someone who's being abused starts to protect the person who's abusing them. And I've been seeing a lot of this lately, and with clients, and also in my life. And I really recently discovered my tendency to do this. So last time on the podcast, we talked about empathy, and I told you about the five parts of empathy: the mindfulness, the perspective taking, being able to communicate emotion, recognize emotion, um, and practicing non-judgment, right? And so, for some reason, empaths, those who are great at practicing empathy, draw in people who are narcissistic or lack empathy, right? So empaths will put themselves in your shoes and really go out of the way to make sure that you're okay because they're feeling what you're feeling. They come with no judgment. Will sit with you through your issues and really feel with you and be there with you. And they tend to attract a lot of people. We tend to attract a lot of people who exploit this trait. Um, a few years ago, I found myself in a situation where I was trying to, on my social media, teach my allies about ways to show up in a way that was supportive. Um, in the with the whole anti-racist movement that was happening during the pandemic, and I'd seen some things happen, and I was just speaking to what I was seeing. Had someone in mind that I had seen doing these things, but it was just a general post about how, like, I didn't appreciate or didn't really think it was helpful for people to perform, do this performative anti-racism and way that was starting to be harmful to the people they were trying to help. It was just a general comment. And now someone who is very famous, very influential in the spaces I belong to, then saw the post and thought it was about her, which actually it was not. It was actually not about her. It was about someone else. Actually, not even someone else, more like a general group of people I'd seen doing this thing, and I just wanted to address for those who followed me, right, for my allies to say, hey, here's what I'm seeing. It's not really helpful. Here's how you could be more helpful, right? And that's usually how I operate. I try not to shame people. I know there's some people out there for whom, like, shame is a thing. They want to shame allies. I don't believe in that. I actually think we need our allies, and so I try to share tools and tips in a way that supports them in continuing to be allies, and that's what I was trying to do. Now, this person, large platform, multimillionaire, very important, powerful person, saw the post and thought it was about her, which it wasn't, and then proceeded to send her her minions, or her people. She sicked them on me, and they flooded my post defending her and saying how great she was and she didn't mean it this way and blah 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 blah. So I was kind of like, I felt trolled. I felt targeted. And I completely shut down. I felt unsafe. I felt misunderstood. And I felt targeted, especially because this was not about her. It was about other people I'd seen doing this thing. I didn't even know she was doing it. Apparently she was, but she made it about her. And um, and sent other people. This was a white person that sent all her black friends to defend her on my post. And I felt unsafe. First of all, this is someone who is very powerful. I didn't have a large of a platform, and so I felt like, wow, this person could really, like, destroy my business if she wanted to, or destroy my platform if she wanted to. And now she's portraying me in a certain light by making it about her, and she's this beloved person that everybody likes, or and makes a lot of money and has a huge platform. So and I, I just felt really, really unsafe. And so I shut down, didn't respond, and realized that something in me kind of shut down that day. And I didn't respond because I didn't want to hurt her feelings. I didn't respond to any of her posts, or I mean any of the things that replies on my message. I just shut down. I never talked about it, and I never posted anything about that topic again. And I just basically just made myself small, and dimmed myself to make her comfortable. I didn't realize I was doing this, by the way. This is someone who I've done a lot of inner work. I'm like, confident, and I'm outspoken, and I'm prolific, and I'm all the things, right? People admire about me. But even I was susceptible to this, right? And recently it came back to me that I had been doing this, that I had been muzzling myself in some way, and not sharing my truth anymore on social media, and not really like expressing myself like I used to. I was feeling unsafe. And I look back and I realized, wow, it goes back to this moment. I was expecting my people to stick up for me, right? And stand up for me. And no one did that. I mean, these people completely flooded my post, and it looked kind of scary. And I felt like let down by the people around me who didn't speak up for me. But then I realized I didn't really speak up for myself neither. How can you expect someone to do for you what you're not willing to do for yourself? So circling back to this idea of the Stockholm syndrome, and I've seen that me do this, and also other people do this, where it's like someone harms you, and then you make it, and then you say, oh, well, it's because they felt bad, or maybe they didn't grow up well, or maybe they had bad things happen in their lives, or we start making excuses for them. And then we wonder why we feel resentful and we feel unsafe, right? They'll go on to live their best lives and make their multi-million dollars, or whatever it is that they're doing, and we suffer, right? um I remember as a kid, someone taking, one of the people, I have a molestation trigger alert, I have a molestation um uh history of being molested, and all of that. And for the longest time, I didn't say a word. I didn't say a word until I was in my 40s. Um and I was trying to protect this person. The person reached I saw the person a few years ago when I went to visit um uh, in Nigeria. And when I did, this person who had been protecting my whole life, when he saw me, he gave me a hug and grabbed my behind. At that time, was a married woman, a grown up. And when he did that, I realized that there was just like no remorse. Like he really was trying to come back and do the things that he had done before. I've been protecting him all this time. And so finally I decided to share that, hey, this person did this. But it wasn't until I was backed into a corner, um, and I never forgot about this. But again and again, with my clients, with people who are empathetic, I've seen this where we're making excuses for people. We're saying, "Oh, it's because they've had a hard time," or "No, they've gone through a lot," or "No, their partner died." Yes, but we're so focused on the needs of others, we're not thinking about our own needs, right? We're looking for others to defend us and protect us, but we're not willing to defend and protect ourselves. We're not willing to speak up for ourselves. Why should we defer that, to someone else, right? So thinking back to this situation with this person who sent all of her minions to defend her and shame me in public, I realized that I was really struggling a few years later. And so I reached out and I said, hey, like I really want to talk about this. And she was like, oh, I'm going through a lot. I'm going through all of these things and I can't really talk right now. And I know I apologize, for making it about me and blah, 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 blah. And can we talk about this another time? And I realized Again, this person just centered herself again. And this will always be the situation. So, as an empath, right, expecting people to, you know, suddenly be empathetic when they've never been empathetic, is a mistake that we make. Maybe next time, maybe next time. And so we excuse abuse, we excuse being shamed, or we excuse being mistreated, and we make excuses for those people, and then we wonder why we feel unsafe or uncared for. We have to have that inner authority. We have to be able to say, I will take care of myself. I will advocate for myself. I will speak up if I'm being harmed. I will speak my truth, and I'll call this thing out, and I'll say, that is not okay. It's not okay for you to center yourself and your needs, to the detriment of mine. I also have needs, right? Your needs are not more important than mine, right? We can't make other people's needs more important than ours. Our needs are just as important as other people's, and there should be room for everyone's needs. And so that's kind of like where I am with this, where I am really, even though this is something I've worked on for a long time, and I can see myself circling this issue over and over again, this is something I really, really want to master. So I'm coming to you not as the expert this time, but as someone who, struggles with this thing. This is something I find myself doing, and I really, maybe you can come along with me. I really want to get better at this. This idea of excusing others, but not giving myself grace, right? Protecting abusers, abusive people, but not caring for my own self and my own needs. We have to have that inner authority to stand on, to say, let me take care of myself. Let me nurture myself. Let me advocate for myself. All the things we're wanting others to do for us, right? We can't expect others to do for us that we're not willing to do for ourselves. And this is a lesson that I'm circling right now. What does this lesson look like for you? How is this showing up in your life? How are you making excuses for the abusers in your life, the people who take advantage, who violate your boundaries, who disrespect you, who violate you? How are you? How are you taking your power back? How are you coming back into alignment? How are you starting to advocate for yourself and take care of yourself and do the things that you're looking for someone else to do? Because guess what? Everybody's focused on themselves and their needs, right? If you don't take care of yourself and your own needs, do not expect others to do. And if they do take care of you, then it's like an extra cherry on top. But a lot of us find ourselves in resentment and anger because we're looking like to see, will this person take care of me? Will this person advocate for me? But when we look at ourselves and check our accountability, we realize we're not doing the thing that we're expecting others to do. So that's what I'm musing about today. Let me know what you think. I hope that this has been helpful for you. Uh, just wanted to do a different take on, these solo riffs that I do when I'm just musing, and this is what I'm reflecting on, just ways in which to um, be the advocate for myself that I wish others were for me, to be the caregiver for myself that I wish others were for me, to be the protector of myself I wish others did for me, right? Let's start to develop that inner authority as empaths, empathetic people, because the world needs us to thrive, but the world's going to go to hell in a handbasket if we think that we can just, give all of ourselves and fry ourselves um, uh, and have nothing left of us because we're trying to save the world. um, there'll be nothing left to give, and the world will completely, you know, the world will move on, right? It won't really fall apart without us. It will move on, but we won't be there. So it's really important that you take care of yourself. It's really important that you advocate for yourself, that you be the change that you want to see, starting in your relationship with yourself first. Well, that's what I'm thinking about. I hope this was useful, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. See you next time. Go cultivate your light. Bye.